Well, hey everybody, Backyard Scrapping here, and welcome to the next part of our refine. I'm actually, yesterday I was out here, as you can see I never did mow, but yesterday I was out here doing these filters. I had a doctor's appointment today, but I actually got it done pretty quick. So I was going to come back in here and just finish this stuff off. And I'm actually going to come over here and work on these chips. I'm going to go ahead and get them ground up and get them ready to go. But I wanted to show you, if you can see all our powder in there. There's a lot of foils in there too, but we got quite a bit of powder. And this has settled down overnight, and if you see in the bottom of it, there's quite a bit of powder. So anyway, I'm going to continue to filter this off, and being that this is a nice slow process, I'm going to go ahead and get set up and start working on the regular BGA chips and get them powdered up. That is still our powder from our first batch of BGAs, which was the copper tops. So anyway, let me get set up and we'll get down on this. We'll have 2 or 3 things ready for acid. This stuff actually, once I get it rinsed and cleaned, will be actually ready for aqua regia. I'm going to probably do the ceramics first, then move into the rest of this stuff. Alright guys, we'll be back at you in a bit. Okay guys, before I get started on these chips, I just wanted to show you that this is our gold foils, and this is all the gold foils that I was able to rinse. This is nothing out of the plug filter yet, so we're still going to have all the stuff that's going to be in here, which there's quite a bit more in there. I mean, that's a nice little batch in there, plus the powder. I did see powder in the bottom of the tubs too, so we are going to get a little gold powder, or a little more from some gold powder. But anyhow, like I said, this is our foils so far. We got a pretty good little stack of foils there, because like I said, this is a 2,000 milliliter beaker, so that's a nice little batch of foils. So I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to go ahead and get started on these bad boys and get the lid off of this thing. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys ground up. And then maybe tomorrow I have got to mow. I mean, there is no doubt about it. So maybe tomorrow afternoon sometime we can get started on washing this stuff up and getting it ready to process. I just wanted to show you that, and I'll get back at you when I got something else to show you. Okay? Okay guys, we got our chips out of the pot. This should go a lot faster than our last batch of chips we were doing, just because you know, these don't have the caps that have to be picked out. So I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm just going to crush them up like this as best as we can do. I know last time I did this I was talking about buying that big mortar, but you know, I mean, $75 for basically something that I can do with this bowl and this sledgehammer head is kind of, you know, kind of hard for me to weigh that out. You know, maybe one day. I mean, it is nice. It would be nice to have that thing, but I don't know. I think I could better spend $75, especially when I've got something that'll do almost the same job. So what I'm going to do again is like I did before. I'm just going to grind this stuff up as good as I can. Then we're going to filter it off in this bowl. Anything that doesn't go through this little screen, we are going to burn. We'll actually put it in this little guy, grind it up some more, and then we'll burn it again. So I'll let you hang out with me for a bit and watch. tomorrow I have got to mow my yard. It is literally, I have parts of it out here that are 3 feet tall. I mean, since this little ordeal, and it actually took me off one of my pills for my back because it interferes with my blood thinner. And I mean, since then, it is it's been an adventure, I'll tell you that. So I'm going to hush up, time lapse this for you, but we're just going to do a little bit of grinding here. I said earlier, in fact in the last video, I had talked about, you know, this maybe being a little bit more monotonous or a little longer than my normal videos, or a little more detailed. That's because I want to try in this refine to show some of the things you guys don't see, and some of the things you guys, you know, don't know how long it takes to do. And even then, I'm cutting it way back. I mean, way back. You know, you could sit out here for one day just filtering. I mean, or washing or whatever. So I'm trying to at least keep some, you know, keep it interesting for you and not bore you to death. But, you know, I do want to show, you know, go a little bit more in depth and show a little bit more of the procedures and the time it takes. So, like I said, I'm going to hush now, and we're going to go ahead and do this. Okay guys, this is the last of our filtering. Our plug in there has got quite a bit of foils. There's quite a bit of fine stuff in there, and also some black powder. So I'm actually going to put that in a separate, when it goes all the way through, I'm going to put it in a separate beaker with the plug so we can show you. I already showed you that. That's all our foils so far. I am now going on the second grind of these. I've already burned them off again, and I'm going to grind them again. This time I'm going to use this little guy because it grinds it to dust. So, and this is how much powder we've got so far. That's from our first batch of chips, from the whole batch. We've almost got that much powder just in this, and we've got it probably that and half again more burning off in the pot right now. So I'm going to keep working on this. And we'll get back at you guys when we get this finished up and show you how much powder we got. Okay guys, we're on our last bit of filtering those foils off and that powder gold. That's just another little project I got going. And this is the powder from the regular BGA chips. I'm burning off the dies one more time, and I'm going to hit them one more time just to see if there's anything left on them. But that's the difference. So there were 728 grams of copper tops and 735 grams or somewhere about that of the regulars, and you can see the difference. So that's how I know, that's how you know if you're going out to buy these things, you want to get the ones, I mean, if you can, you want to get the ones without the copper tops, because you get a lot more material. Alrighty, I'm going to check these chips out one more time, and then I'm going to call it a night. So we will see you all tomorrow. Well, hey guys, it is the next afternoon. I still haven't mowed. Well, my buddy and his bush hog will take care of it. Anyhow, this is the last burn, and as you can see, we're still going to have quite a bit of ash in that. We are up to here with our jar of ash. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one off with this booger, and we're going to get it in that jar, and then we're going to pop that plug out of that out of the big funnel and see how much foils and gold we got in that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and this pretty much, I'm pretty sure, is going to take care of any of the plastic that was left. We should just be down to our silicone dyes, which is what we want. Yeah, I think that's got it. I'm going to just keep you guys with me for a second, take a peek at that. Now we're... okay. But I do believe that this is probably going to finish us off on this. Yeah, I can just tell by the way it went in. Yep. We don't need to do no more burn there. I'll put it back in here and see if I get any more. Maybe I'll just put 1 teaspoon in. Because that's gonna, 1 teaspoon will be easier to grind. I won't have to put it back in. And I'll sweep this, you know, this little area right here, I'll sweep it up into the bowl when I'm done. Whoa, that was close. Forgot my strainer. And that is it. We are down to the dyes. I don't know if you can see how good you can see that, but that is it. We've gotten rid of all of our plastic. So, alright guys, I'll get back up with you in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get this little bit done, and then we'll check that plug. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you, I'm satisfied that that's just dyes in there. I mean, there may be a hair or two, but for the most part, when you get it down to that, you're not seeing really any white or any black, so we're just down to the silicone. We had 2 little copper tops in this batch. They sneak by because they're actually painted black on the top, and if you don't hand hold every single one of them, you know, you can't tell. This is our final jar, which, as you can see, is right up to the top. So I just wanted to show y'all what we got. That's the difference. Let me grab the other jar real quick. So that's almost an equal weight copper tops versus non-copper tops. So you can see how much weight is in these heat sinks. And this is not really packed down. I packed that down to get everything in there. It looks like sand art. But anyhow, so that's where we're at. Let me get this camera off here, get it turned around, and we're going to pop that plug out of that funnel and check out that. Okay guys, here is our plug in our big funnel. So I'm going to get this thing stood up, and we're going to turn that over a beaker and push that plug out and see what it looks like. So I will be back at you in 1 second, or maybe 2. Okay, being that this is all going to end up in the same place anyway, I was going to pop it into another beaker, but it's just going to end up making it where I got to clean another beaker. So we're going to take that like that, and we can see we got a lot of black, and this has had a lot of clear water run through it. So we've got right here to here is about I don't know, looks like a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of foils. Then we got a lot of black right here, and then it's white. So you know we got most of the acid out. Make sure. Just give that one quick little squirt. You can see, look at all that black. Can you see it? I hope it's not glaring too bad, but there's a lot of black in there. So that's going to end up all going into Aqua Regia. And that little bit, I'm going to take a little brush because I can see a black layer right there, or black film, which is going to be gold powder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that one more time. Rinse this, and then we're just going to knock all this stuff down like that and just leave it sit up here for now. Most of that water will evaporate off, but quite a bit of black on that. So I'm glad we did that. Alright, I'm going to set this up here. And let me take this camera off, and we're going to call it a day. I'm actually going to, I know this is like the third day in a row I said I was going to try and mow. I am actually going to go out and get on the mower, and I've got to knock some of this down. So we'll be back at this tomorrow. There's our, well, hang on. Alright guys, so this is where we're at. There is our foils with our plug. That is our copper top ash, and that is our regular ash from our BGA chips. So that stuff's ready to go. All I got to do is get it washed. This is actually ready for Aqua Regia. So the next thing we're probably going to be doing tomorrow, I may do that. I just want to see how that small batch of I may just do it all. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But anyway, I got to get out there and get on that mower. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Well, good late morning, everybody. It's about, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I finally made it out. I mowed up to there, up to the peach tree, or the pear trees, as you can see, just a little bit past the peach tree. And I've decided that that's all I'm going to mow, because we don't use the back, so I don't need to keep it like a golf course. Anyhow, what we're going to do today is I have decided that I am going to continue preparing stuff and getting it ready to go. This is our foils. I'm just evaporating off some of that water to get it ready. Over here we have our ash, which is what we're going to clean up today. I'm going to put this in, I've done the process before and shown it before, but I'm going to show it a little bit again. Normally I use a 3-jar process where I pour from one to the other, make sure we don't lose any gold. But I have never even found any gold under the scope in the second bottle. So I'm going to cut that back, you know, 1 bottle at least, to make it go a little bit faster. Over here we have our small ceramics, and we have our backs. It may cost me a little more, but I'm actually going to do these in nitric acid. I want to see, you know, how thick the foils are on these. I have done, you know, 486 backs before, you know, to check the foils, and I just want to see, comparatively speaking, because these look a little bit lighter, so I want to see what kind of foils we get off of them. So, and then we'll probably do this, or start this in the Aqua Regia while we are cleaning up, because this dust rinsing process is going to take a while, especially with what we have here. So I can actually have some Aqua Regia going and some nitric going today while we're doing that. So let me finish getting set up, and we'll get back at you guys in just a little while. Okay guys, what we got going on is I actually have about 175 milliliters of distilled water in 2,000 milliliter beakers with the caps, the gold caps. Got us some nitric acid here. I'm going to let this sit out in the sun for a few minutes while I'm cleaning this up. This is our small batch of ceramics, you know, the little guys. I actually just put some HCl on them. I'm going to let the HCl work out here for a little bit, and then I'm going to pour it off, see if we can get rid of any base metals or aluminum, which you can already see is going on. And then we're going to put aqua regia in that, and we're going to put the nitric in this and dissolve our base metals and get our foils and this. So that's where we're at. I am going to start doing our rinse now. I've got a couple jars I don't care about because you're going to scratch them up, and I've got an old stirring rod because it's going to get scratched up. So don't use anything when you're doing this that you that you value, because the silica chips or the silicon dyes will cut your glass. So anyhow, they're probably a hardness of about 7 or 7.5, your beakers and stuff like that. Even borosilicate glass sometimes is, you know, 7, 6.5 to 7, but you'll still scratch your beakers up, so be careful. So anyway, I'm going to let this go for about a half hour, getting rid of that aluminum, and then we're going to start doing that. In the meantime, I'm going to get to work on this rinse. So we'll be back at you in a bit. Okay guys, the first thing we're going to do, I just got an old coffee container. I'm going to move this out of my way. This is our ash from our first run from our BGAs with the copper tops. I'm going to put that ash in here, then I'm going to put some Dawn or some dish soap or Jet Dry or whatever you have that'll work like that on here. And let it settle. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to mix this up real good. You don't need a whole lot. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to drag this pot of water over here because I want to use it up first. I'm actually going to take and put a little bit of water in here. And a little bit of Dawn, just a drop or two. Swirl that around, and I'm going to clean this out. I'll dump that in there when in here when I get it mixed up. But anyhow, so this is what we're going to do. There's our ash. I'm going to put some soap in here, and little by little we're going to add some water to that and stir it up. And what that soap does, if you just put water in here right now and try and mix this up, you're just going to have a mess. What you want to do is pretty much make a paste out of this. And that dish soap will break that surface tension and allow this all to get wet. Otherwise, the ash will just float. A lot of it will just float, and you won't, like I said, you're just going to have a mess on your hands. You see we're getting a nice little slurry already. You want to make sure everything is mixed up really well. Dig down in there and get all that ash wet. Probably should have used a different bowl, but this will work. I can still rinse everything out when I'm done. What we're going to do, rinse this spoon off for a minute so I can put it down. I want to move this pot over here too, get this stuff out of my way. Is little by little we are going to add that ash to this first jar. We're going to stir it up. Add water. So that's basically what's going on. I'll do a couple to show you, and then it's going to take, I don't know, hour maybe to do this first one. So I'm going to get this, get about that much, maybe a little more. I actually got this a little too wet. And I suppose I could pour it, you know, because I'm going to be rinsing it anyway, so I think I'll do that. Rinse the spoon off again. Right now, you don't want to waste anything as of yet, because you may have little particles of gold anywhere right now. I got this little tiny bit I dropped. I'm going to get it in there too. And I'm just going to pour this in here. Like I said, I'll be rinsing it thoroughly anyway. And then we are going to, maybe I won't pour this in there. Then we're going to add our water. And this is basically just a specific gravity thing. We're going to use the water to get the gold to go down to the bottom. And I'll tell you about pouring off the stuff and what to do in a second. But basically, you're just going to want to mix this up real good. This is why I said you want to use jars and stuff that you don't care about, because you're going to get the silicon dyes in here and they will scratch the stuff. So we're going to let that settle. And the first couple times you want to let it settle good. You don't want to be pouring out any gold. That's the trick here. You want to be saving the gold. So now we're going to pour this off. And what you want to do is only pour it about halfway. And then we're going to add more water. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this rinsing process until this jar settles down within about 20 or 30 seconds. So in other words, when we stir this like this, when that settles out fairly clear in about 20 or 30 seconds, then you know you've got your ash clean enough to process. Okay, so I'm going to do this for a bit and then I'll get back to you. This right here, like I said, I'll check it anyway, but I just take this, I've got a tub down here, and I just kind of pour it. I don't tip it completely over because the shoulder of the jar will keep the heavies, as long as you don't dump it completely over. So I'll just keep that down there, and I'm going to just keep doing this process until this runs clear. And in the very beginning, only pour off about a half a jar. Don't pour off too much. Again, we're just going to add more water. And the nice thing about this is, I mean, you're cleaning your ash, but basically all you've done is make new dirt. So you can take your, you know, when you're done with this, all this the soap ain't going to hurt anything. The ash is ash, it's burnt, it's essentially just fine dirt. So you can just pour it right out. There's no extra treatment needed. Alright, I'm going to do this till this runs clear and then I'll show it to you. Okay guys, we are almost to the stage where this is ready to go. I figured I'd do this last couple so you can see how it's going to look. And effectively what we're doing with these jars is kind of like panning gold, but this is a lot safer. I'm a pretty good gold panner, and I know some pretty good gold panners, and I'm able to get flour gold, but I would not attempt panning this stuff. And a lot of them out there say they do it, but see how fast this is clearing up? Anyway, back to the panning. A lot of them say that they can do it and they're good. This flour gold looks like boulders compared to this stuff. I mean, these hairs, I can't remember how many miles there is in an ounce of gold of these hairs, of these bond wires. We are talking, nearly microscopic gold in some cases. But see how quick that's settling out? So, I mean, some people use a little, like a trough or a drain pipe type thing, or they'll use a bowl. I would suggest if you want to use something mechanical, like a gold bowl, not even a spiral wheel. A spiral wheel is not, you're not going to get it all. So I'm going to just do a couple more of these and show you how fast this will settle out. It took nearly this pot of water just to do this jar. I'm going to change jars too. I'm going to go over to this tall beaker thing I've got. It's actually not made like a beaker. I'll show it to you. I got it at a thrift store. It's for coffee, but I really don't, I'm not going to use it for heat. So, and it's got this little lip down here, so it'll probably work good for this. So I'm going to use that in place of this jar because I'm spilling too much water. I'm not worried about spilling the gold, because I'm not spilling the gold, but I'm spilling too much water out and I don't want to get my counters soaked. But anyway, you see how fast that cleared up? And now what we have in the bottom here is just our concentrates. Just our heavy silica, gold, and anything else that's heavy. We've almost gotten rid of all the plastic. So I'm going to pour this one off. And I'm going to do it one more time. Go ahead and pour this one off in my waste container. And see, this will even get where it holds. See, we're holding quite a bit of stuff in there, but most of that's just going to be silica, finer silica dust, and bigger pieces of plastic. I have used this method probably since the very first time I ever did chips. I have checked my waste like this and my bucket, and I have one time, I think in the first pour off jar, I found one wire or two wires. Alright, see how that's settling out? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it almost stop spinning, and then I'm going to pour it off. Then we're going to put this stuff in a beaker. The stuff in the bottom of this jar we'll put in a beaker and just keep going until we get it all done. Now this is probably going to take me several hours. It's going to take the better part of the afternoon to do both of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera off the stand. I'll show you periodically where we are here and where we are out on the dissolving our caps and doing our first little bit of ceramics, which right now the reaction is slowing down pretty good. So I think we've gotten rid of most of the aluminum and the crap that I wanted to get rid of. So probably another 15-20 minutes or so. I'll drain that off and rinse it, and then we'll put that in aqua regia. So we'll be back at you then. Okay guys, I'm going to take a break from rinsing for a second. We've got a little bit of action in here still, but I'm going to go ahead and pour that off and put some fresh HCl in there and see if we can activate it up a little bit again and get rid of more of that junk. So I will be back in a second to show you what the fresh HCl is doing. Okay guys, we got some fresh acid in there and we perked some things up a little bit. So again, I'm going to let it go for a while. Ideally, I don't want to see any bubbles going on in here when we go to Aqua Regia. That would be nice. Be a cleaner drop. I apologize if you saw my hand jerk at the end of that last little segment, but I actually had one of them big old, I don't know what you call them, they look like a bumblebee, but they're a wasp, and he was about to get in my face, so I had to jump back. Alright, but anyway, I can see we've still got some good action going on in here, so I'm going to let it go again, and I guess I'll get back to rinsing. I could actually probably start this stuff. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll get this moved up top here and we'll get that stuff started. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay guys, I have added about 50 mils of nitric to both of these. I'm going to let it go for a minute. I'm not seeing too much going on yet, but I'm sure we will in a little while. So I'm going to let this stuff go. That second batch of HCl is slowing down a little bit now, so that'll probably be ready for Aqua Regia in just a few minutes. Alright, I'm going to let this go for a while, go back to doing some more rinsing, and we'll check it again in about 15 or 20 minutes. Okay guys, it has been about 30 minutes. Our HCl in the background's got some tiny stuff going on, but I think it's about ready to go ahead and rinse and make Aqua Regia. Our plates are in dilute nitric acid. They've been in it for about 30 minutes and there is nothing happening. So I'm at a bit of an impasse here. I don't know if the plating is not allowing it to go through to the base metal. I don't know if it is stainless steel, but I have stripped stainless steel using dilute nitric acid in the past. It just gets, because there's usually a plating underneath it, even though it's stainless steel, there should be a copper plating or some kind of plating to plate the gold onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these sit for a while longer. I'm going to go ahead and get that stuff in the background ready to go. We're just going to see if anything happens with these. If not, then I'll just pour this acid off and keep it and use it for something else. And I'll just go ahead and make Aqua Regia and dissolve the whole things like I normally do. I was just trying to avoid, you know, there's about 169 and change grams, about 170 grams of these things. And I was kind of hoping to get away from dissolving the metal. But, I mean, if this is going to take 100 years to do, you know, if I don't have some kind of reaction here going on, you know, by the time I'm done doing this first batch of powder over here, then I'm just going to have to do them in, you know, in Aqua Regia. So anyhow, I'll leave it set for a while. I'm going to go ahead and get that background beaker going, and we'll be back to show you that in just a few. Okay guys, still nothing from the peanut gallery back there. Like I said, I'm going to just let it go for a while. Maybe something will happen. If not, we'll do it another way. I've got these rinsed. Got my hydrochloric in, and we're going to go ahead and put in a few pipettes of nitric and get this ball going here. Now if this doesn't work, then there's obviously something desperately wrong with my nitric acid. That's about 6. And we're actually getting a pretty good reaction there. I'm going to just let it go for now. Just do a little swirl. And yeah, we're getting a good little reaction there. So I'm going to just let this go. let's put it this way. If this gold is dissolved in here and ain't nothing still happening over there, then we're gonna just switch over to Aqua Regia and just, you know, just dissolve them that way and just do a dirty drop, and we'll have to redo it. But I was really wanting to not do that. I wanted to get the foils off, and like I said, I've taken foils off of stainless steel before. But, I mean, I don't know. So, hey, it's always something, right? Something new. Always something different and something new. Alrighty, we'll be back at y'all in a bit. Okay, guys. At least I'm not senile yet. I don't know if you can see that one right there, but there's a few in here that are looking like that. The foils are actually starting to buckle. So this just may take longer than I thought it was going to take. But anyway, I do see a couple others in there like that where the foils are buckling. So apparently this is going to work. There's a couple in here that are doing it too now. So we're just going to let it go. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm not blurring it up too much. Let me see if I can get it back like that. Maybe you can see it there. But so for the time being, I'm just going to let that go. And I do see something happening. It's just not happening fast. We're fixing to put another drop or two of nitric in this. I still see gold in there, so we're gonna just continue on and continue on with our Yahoo. This is a very slow procedure, so we will be back at you guys in a little bit. Okay, guys, this is our tops or backs or whatever you want to call them. Finally starting to see a little knocks in here. And we're getting a little color, so we know something is finally starting to happen. So I'm just going to let them continue to go. This, I believe, is almost finished. I put a little more HCl and a little more nitric in here because it looked to me like I could still see a couple pieces with plating on them, and we're still getting a few bubbles every now and again. So I'm going to let that, I'll probably leave that overnight and clean it up in the morning. And this, we are almost done. I just have this last picture to do of the copper top BGAs. There's our concentrate. I'll try and move it over later and see if we can see some gold in there, which I know we can. I've already seen it. So I'm going to continue on, finish this up. When I get this one done, I think I'm going to call it a day. I've had enough. So anyhow, I'll get back to you when this is done, and we'll show you that. We'll show you the concentrates. Alrighty, we'll see you then. Okay, guys, we've got our last bit of concentrates cleaned out of our ash. We're going to put it in there, but before I do that, I know everybody's anxious to see a little bit of gold. So let's hold this booger up and let's show you some gold bond wires. So that's just in this last cleanup. So I'll add that to that beaker, and we'll set that beaker on the shelf over there, and that will be that. Our Aqua Regia has slowed to almost nothing, so we're still getting a few little things, and I'm still seeing a little bit, looks like a little bit of gold in there still. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit overnight just in case. It should be cleaned out in the morning, and then we'll get back at you then. I'm pretty sure that this video is getting up there in time, so hopefully these guys will be a little more active tomorrow, but I am seeing a lot more, looks like some bubbling on some of these plates, so some of it's breaking loose, and that's our beautiful foil jar. So anyway, guys, everybody take care, stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.